In today's video, we're taking a look at the Summer Waves 2000 gallon pool filter pump, and we're also going to do a replacement install of the SFX standard filter pump that came with the pool. Everything that we use on the video, we're going to leave a link on the description. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. That does help us out a lot. So you woke up today and you went to turn on the pool's filter pump, but you notice it's rumbling and making noise like it's on the Royal Rumble. Or maybe you're looking just to upgrade your old SFX pump. Don't worry, here at the StatUpBox team, we've got your back. This particular one is the PC2000C model with a power information of 360 watts and 3 amps. And according to the manufacturer's website, it could filter up to 2,000 gallons of water per hour using an A or C filter type. And the first thing that we get on the box is the barbecue paper. I mean the owner's manual. The next thing that we get in the box is the hoses. We have 2 that measure 36 inches and we have 2 that measure 59 inches. Next, we have the hose adapters. And this is used when you want to go from a hose size of 1.25 to a hose size of 1.5. And next we have the universal adapters. This can be used to fit the plunger valves with the hoses. In the beginning of the adapter is 1.25 and at the end is 1.5. And here we have the whole complete suction fitting assembly with included cap. And we also have a complete set of the return fitting diverter assembly. Next, we have a Y-shaped hose connector, and this adapter is great when your pool has 2 returning fittings, and you're going to use this particular one if you're upgrading from a different kind of pool pump, which is not SFX, to this particular one. Next, we have the clamps. We have some SF thrust washers, and next we have the SFX seal plate, which is the one that we're going to use because we're upgrading from an SFX pool pump filter to this one. And lastly, we have the RF service plug, which the caps are also used to service the pool. And the reason we went with this filter pump compared to others, you get the adapters, connections, and fittings for any situation that you may encounter. And many of these parts can be used in the future as replacement parts. And the last thing that you want to see on the box is the pump. And that is very important because the last thing you want is to have adapter and hoses and no pump. Houston, we have a problem. On the left side of the pump, we can clearly see the marking of in. And this is where your inlet hose is going to be connected in. And if we take a look to the right side, we have the outlet. And this is where your water is going to come out from. And if we keep looking to the right, we're going to see a service plug. This is where you cap all your systems, and from this plug you drain the water inside of the filter pump to be able to service or change the filter. On the top we have the filter housing, and we'll notice 2 caps. A small one, which is the vent screw. This is where you open it slightly and you're able to release any air on the system. It's like a bleeding screw, but also it could be used to insert a 1-inch chlorine tablet if needed to. And in the same location, we have a bigger cap. And this is the one that we use to remove the filter to replace it or to clean it. As you can see, you can use an A or C filter, which this particular one is included. If you notice to the left side, we have a hole where the water comes from the pump side to the filter, and then on the middle, passes the filter, then goes through the little tunnel in the middle outward. Now that we filled your head on how a filtration system works, we're ready for the next part. Now we head to the back of the pump, and the first thing that we see is the power cord, which measures 25 feet. It does come included with a GFCI plug, which has its standard reset and test button. But the cool thing about this plug is that it does have a timer. You can set this timer from 1 hour to 10 hours, and you do that by clicking the set button. And once you set your desired time, let's say 4 hours or 5, the pump will work for 5 hours and restart after a 19-hour break. So that means it's going to turn off by itself, and tomorrow it's going to start all by itself again. so it's gonna be like a leave it and forget it. Also on the back of the machine, we have the power on and off button. So this basically means once you set your timer, you can leave the machine on and it would do everything by itself. And at the bottom of the filter pump system, we have screw holes. So that means if you want to set your pump on a permanent location, you can do so as well. And the first thing that you want to do is turn off and disconnect your old pump, because the last thing you want on a clear sunny day is to die, to go from a happy DIYer to barbecue. And now that we filled your brain with inventory information, we're ready to get a tan. And what we noticed that works best and easiest is bringing down the level of the water under the inlet and the outlet of the pool. But if you don't want to remove the water from your pool, you can also place the service plugs on both the inlet and the outlet. Now comes the second fork on the road. And this is where we chose to leave the SFX pump connected to the pool. Meanwhile, we service it. And this is a lot easier if you have a Watson helping you. But you can also remove the SFX pump and then place it back again. So just like plumbing, having a bucket goes a long way. Not only catches water, but it can also catch any pieces that want to run away. The first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and loosen and remove the clamps and hoses to give way to the new ones. And if you notice, the old ones have plastic clamps, but the new one has metal clamps, which are going to help with the extra power that the new pump will push. And remember, a pro tip, like any DIY job, saving the parts for the future always saves money on replacement parts. So don't throw away the hoses or clamps. Next, we're going to remove our catcher and filter. If your filter is still good, just a little rinse and you can reuse it another time. And now we've come to the third fork on the road. You can choose to leave your old pump in its place, or like we're going to do, we're going to choose to place the seal plate instead. So if you chose to leave your old pump connected to the pool, this is where an extra help like Watson comes in. Either meanwhile Watson holds on to the pool pump so it won't move, or your other hand will start to remove the bottom cap that holds the pump in place. You're going to notice some markings, which is going to let you know to what side you loosen and to what side you tighten. But always remember, a pro tip, lefty loosey, righty tighty. We go ahead and pass the cord through the screw ring, making way for our seal plate. You're going to notice a marking on the seal plate that you do want to align with the pump housing before we go ahead and screw the cap back. And the good thing about removing the pump, it's going to create a clear and free water passage. Now we're ready to start our hose installation. So no matter if you chose the longer or shorter hose, the technique is going to be the same. We want to make sure that our metal clamp is already on the hose, and then we make the connection. And we're first going to start with the outlet diverter. Once we feel it tight, that should be enough. Remember, because we're working with plastic, we don't want to over tighten and crack it. And if you notice on the test later on you have any leaks, you can always retighten a little bit more. And you can choose a flathead screwdriver or a Phillips screwdriver. Remember the ancient rule passed down generation to generation, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Next, we're going to take our second hose and using the same technique of placing the clamp first and then connecting it to our pump housing. And we choose to do the connections to the pool first instead of the pump because we noticed that it's a lot easier to not get them mistaken. But remember, it is your kingdom and what you choose goes. Just don't let your spouse or partner, friends or family members know if you don't want to get overthrown. And now we can bring the pump to the after party. We're going to take our hose coming from the pump housing and connect it to our new pump where it says in, using the same technique of having the clamp already pre-installed on the hose and then connecting it to the pump. We don't over tighten, remembering that everything is made of plastic except the clamp, and we know that you're very strong, but today we don't want to show the world that strength, grasshopper. Now we're only going to have one hose left, and that's the one for the outlet diverter, which we're going to connect it to the side where the filter is located at. We're going to use the same technique again, have the clamp pre-installed to the hose, don't over tighten, and like a record going on replay, you already know the drill. And now that everything's connected, here comes the ultimate test. We're gonna go ahead and place the leaf catcher, and instead of filling the whole pool with water, what we're gonna do is fill the reservoir for our old pump with water and verify that we don't have any leaks on the system. If we notice that we don't have any leaks on the system, then we can go ahead and proceed to fill up the pool to its original level. Or even better yet, with the new filter system, you can even overfill it a little bit more than the old system. And before we go ahead and turn on the pool, the first thing that we want to do is release any air on the system. And we do that using the vent screw. And we do that by loosening the screw until we hear air coming out or water. If you notice air is coming out, then you stop when the first drip of water comes out. You can repeat this 2 to 3 times. And we also like to repeat this once the filter pump is on, and then we turn it off after a few minutes and then bleed it once again. And if we notice after those 2 tests, no air comes out and just water comes out, once you loosen the screw, you're ready to go. We tighten it back and we're ready for the next step. We can go ahead and turn on our filter pump. Then we go to our GFCI plug, and like we all do all the time, and you know, it happens to all of us. We forget which one is the reset or the test button, and we start pressing and pressing until we eventually hear something. But in this case, until you don't hit the set button and go from 0 to 1, the pump won't start. So now it's just a matter of choosing the amount of time you want the pump to run for. And compared to our old system, this one has more power. If you want to check out our daily, weekly, monthly pool maintenance video, we'll leave a link on the description of this video. We once again verify for any leaks, and if everything looks good, that it should, because we know that you're so awesome like that, then we go ahead and place the final cap back. Now you can pat yourself on the back for a job well done. You become a filter master, installer, replacement engineer. But most importantly, you become a master on the fork on the road. Don't forget, if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps. If you have any questions, place them in the comment section below. Either someone on the StatUpBox team or someone in the YouTube community can help you out with an answer. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on social media. Thank you for watching, and here's a link to our latest video.